And welcome back, everybody, to I'll Hang 'em and Listen, brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 50 beers to choose from at now 7 different Western New York locations. If you need a beer, make sure you make it a Fatty Beer. Let them know 2 goalies, 1 Mike sent you. Sabres, I did a kind of like an emergency press conference after the first period, the embarrassing effort of the first period. A lot of you chimed in. I was kind of surprised. I was like 3 minutes into this thing, and I looked at the comments, and there were over 80 comments in it. It was insane. And I was just I thought, so I was like, listen, we'll get to this in the post game. It's not going to happen right now because I just don't have the time for this or just the mental capacity for it. But I just want, before I continue on the carryover from that little press conference from the first period, I want your thoughts right now.
Well, it's night 2 of 82, and I'm honoring my unspoken tradition of wearing the bullshit Buffalo Sabres hat when they play like bullshit. And I was working on a Sabres post-game bingo board here of the generic bullshit we're going to hear them say for the rest of the year. You know, couldn't do the little things right. This is a young team. This is the best league on earth. We had a couple bad bounces. You can't blame a couple bad bounces. And I'm thankful that the only 2 players they interviewed at the end of this game were the only 2 players that actually fucking showed up tonight. One of which being Alex Lyon. Endless amount of respect to Alex Lyon for that performance. By no stretch of the imagination could anyone possibly put this on the goaltending. And if you are, you straight up do not know puck. So let's just cut that out right now before anyone chimes in.
For 2 games now.
Oh, yeah, he's been the only reason we've looked even a little bit competitive. If that was Alex Forgiev, these would have been 6-0 games by halfway through. Easy.
It would have been bad.
It would have been real bad. The other player they interviewed is Jason Zucker. And from what the comments are saying here, I didn't get to listen to the Lindy Ruff post-game presser, but he said it was one of the worst starts he's ever seen. And he's seen a lot of starts, good and bad. He's been around for a minute. So that's saying something. And I think that's just indicative of just how short of a fuse, how short of a leash, how little tolerance the fan base as a whole, the organization as a whole, ought to have for anything other than try your absolute damnedest, and if you fall short, at least you fucking tried. But you, after this much time failing, we can't come out this fucking, pardon my language, this limp dick first 2 games in.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It is so bad. And I'm trying not to just scream and get a noise complaint, but like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I shouldn't feel this bad on October 11th. Holy.
And listen, it's so reminiscent of last season, right? Like, that was the big knock on the team to start the year, is just that they were starting flat. There was just no jump in their game right at the opening faceoff. That was the big criticism on Thursday night. You know, I was there in attendance. I saw it firsthand. There was just no jump in their game. That was like my biggest problem with the home opener, is the fact that you have all, regardless of injuries, regardless of Zach Benson being in the hospital, Kesselring not playing, Owen Power not playing, flip-flopping this, that, or the other. Like, it's the home opener. It's the home opener. You haven't played hockey, real hockey, in how long? And you guys should be ready to skate through a fucking wall. The house is full. Barn is full. No excuses. And then, okay, you lose that game 4-0. You take that shellacking. And then you come into Boston, a very tough building to play in. And the Bruins, regardless of what their roster might look like, that's always going to be a physical team to play against. Always going to be a tough team to play against, no matter what. And you give up 18 shots in the first period. 8.
Yeah.
But you only get 1. 18 to 1. What? It's inexcusable. You should be pissed off after how things went in the home opener. You should be aggravated. I mean, I know these guys are on social media. I'm sure they're seeing a lot of what's being said about the team after the Norris the Norris injury and what was announced and people counting them out, this, that, and the other, myself included. But, like, doesn't that piss you off? Should that not just piss you right the fuck off and just make you
Yeah, it's just completely unacceptable, and I do think it's just you pulled the thread of Norris not being in the equation, and the entire forward core, line 1 to line 4, did not know what to do, had little to no chemistry of any kind. Tage, Thompson, and Jack Quinn were both pulling their best Dylan Cousins impression, shooting right into shin pads. Alex Tuck was just trying to win wall battles, but once he did, not a soul was open. McLeod's out there doing the best he can. Josh Doan eventually realized that no one's going to get open for a pass or connect with a pass if he sends one. So he just started trying to take it coast to coast all by himself because this is the only way I'm going to get in the zone.
That's
if I just physically take it myself.
Top line.
Yeah,
I would
agree.
like to see him on that top line, given the circumstances. And they'd call up Josh Doan. They don't even play him. That make sense. I don't understand that one at all.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all. And honestly, and I hate to say it, but Kulik looked lost in that first line. Like, he didn't look like he was, even though we watched him do it for about 20 games last year, he did not look prepared to be a first-line player today. He was just completely out of it. Krebs hasn't played playmaking, goal-scoring hockey in over 3 years, and he's literally given a gift at the post and gets it all of, 9 inches into the air, right off Swayman's glove?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? This is a kid that he touted, once I get a hat trick in junior, I'm going to make passes for the rest of the game. So after the first 15 minutes, I'm making passes for the rest of the game. That's why he was drafted as a playmaker, and those are the kinds of shots that he's reduced to because he hasn't been used the way he's supposed to be used.
Nope.
It's holy, there's absolutely no cohesion. And, I'm not going to let the defense off the hook. They made mistakes, but they did their job.
They did what that effort, regardless of the first period and how it went, that was a good enough defensive effort to win a hockey game, no doubt.
Exactly. Connor Timmins is directly responsible for saving 2 goals against from David Pastrnak specifically. Mm-hmm. One where he took him right out in the blue paint, and then the other one where it beat Alex Lyon 5-hole, and he's the reason that it didn't cross the line. He grabs it after it goes behind Lyon and gets it off to the boards. So, again, they did a competent job, but they did not play hard enough to win at all.
Offensively, it's just inexcusable. And how long are they going to wait to move Tage Thompson back to center? I know we have a lot of comments here in the peanut gallery. I'm bringing them out right now. Don't want to on the a lot of people, one team, one shot. It's not going to be a few pieces to change the course. After the season, everything will fall apart, and we'll all have to start from scratch. Thompson, Tuck, Darlene aren't on this team anymore. That's a very, very close reality. That could become a reality. No doubt about it. No compete level. Krebs, Quinn, invisible. Let's talk about Jack Quinn for a second, because he has not, the hype about him in the offseason getting bigger, things we heard from certain alumni, he has been invisible.
Almost $4 million. For what?
Raise. You got a raise.
He got a raise! For what? He doesn't fucking do anything.
It's mind-boggling.
You can't play him anywhere but the top 6 because he is not a complete enough player to complement any bottom 6 line you could put him with. No combinations of players can protect him from himself because he's just fucking average right now. He used to snipe. He used to have confidence. He used to care. I don't know who this guy I don't know who this guy is. Quack Gin, but he's not the kid that we saw in Rochester just set records year one. What the fuck, dude? He's so... And I fucking loved him when he was playing with JJ Peterka and the Amherst. They were fucking unbelievable. And then they picked up right where they left off year one in Buffalo. It was so good.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this kid? Why is he still here?
Wish I
Good
could tell
Lord. You. Like, thank God Byram's still here. Like, I know we all wanted him to get fucking sent to the wood chipper for literally any forward help this summer. But goddamn, if he wasn't here, literally the only defenseman we'd have is Rasmus Dahlin.
Yeah. I want to pull it up here. I'm going to let you keep going here for a second, but I'm going to pull up the post-game quotes from Brian Cozio. That last comment, though, that we just saw, it was a quote from Jason Zucker. I'll see if Zucker says the Bruins defended well, has to give them credit, says Alex Lyon has been playing very well, but says they are better defensively so far. Zucker says Samuelson made the play on his goal, made a nice play in the middle and waited for him to crash the net before shooting. Lyon says it'll be a test with Colorado coming in. They got to be prepared and ready. Lyon on game-winning goal against. Like every goal, you have to believe you could have saved that. That's part of being a successful NHL goalie. That being said, I picked it up late. I mean, not many goalies are stopping that type of a deflection directly in front of them. And that's just so fast. And you want your goalie to have that response. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you supposed to do there? Lyon on facing the pressure. You're just in the moment as a goalie. You just try and grind and give the guys a chance on the other side. You know, regardless, we'll get to the Lyon and like this right here. Brian didn't tweet this out, but Zucker said players saying right things but not doing it. Lindy has to take some responsibility for them not playing with heart. I have to agree. Agree. You know, I was thinking a lot today, Steve. You probably remember it. I think it was when Tortorella coached the Rangers. There was that in between period intermission where he is just fucking losing it, how bad they are playing defensively. Just losing it. Like just demanding accountability. And I know people view him as a dinosaur. I know people say that he is so far out of his element. He's not an NHL coach anymore. This, that, but are we lying that this team needs that type of reaction out of a coach? Am I wrong?
No, I mean, it was all the talk of last year was, we have to be more accountable. We have to be more accountable. We have to hold ourselves accountable. We can't keep making excuses. And yeah, Lindy Ruff was upset in his little post-game presser tonight, but I guess I can understand that it's hard for this team to buy in when they see a head coach, an assistant coaching staff, a general manager, pretty much the majority of decision makers for this team are all in their final contract year. And I think people who have been in the league long enough can see the writing on the wall that come next year, I'm not going to have to listen to anything 90% of these people are saying because they will not fucking be here. Like, God willing, they will not be here. Like, Lindy Ruff will go away. Every assistant coach, probably with the exception of Seth Appert, will go away. Most of the front office that doesn't have a deal going into next year, like Kevyn Adams, for example, will hopefully go away. And then you're taking your orders from somebody else. It's hard to take your boss seriously when you know they don't actually have any real authority. And and that's not an argument to, extend Lindy Ruff. That's just, while these guys are hockey players, this is also their place of employment. And they can kind of tell that every single person ahead of them on the coaching staff and in the front office is on the hottest of hot seats. There is literally no room for failure. And if you fail, get ready to learn Jacksonville Iceman, buddy, because you're not going to have an NHL job by April 15th or whatever the last day of our regular season is.
And I know we talk about Dahlin and Tage wanting out, but if I'm Kevyn Adams or whoever, maybe it's Yarmo, I don't know. But like, there is zero chance I am letting them leave. I don't care how much they want out. You're stuck here, bud. You signed a contract. Sucks to suck.
Yeah.
And right now suck.
Yes. I mean, a no move clause, no trade clause, it protects your players from other teams going, I want them. Oh, okay. Let me just trade them. And the player gets the right to say no, but you do still have the right to just say, no, you can request a trade all you want. Yeah. I'm not going to trade you. I'm still your boss. We signed this contract, and while you're under contract, you have a job to do. And this is the place where you're going to do that job. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but we're going under new management. We're going to try our best to steer the fucking ship right. I believe infinitely more in Jarmo Kekalainen than I do in Kevyn fucking Adams. Goddamn chipmunk.
Yeah.
He's fucking
Gavin
useless.
McKenna, you are a Sabre. At this point,
he
they
really
have one goal scored in 2 games. I'm pretty sure they're in the basement of the NHL. So
man.
they have the best odds. I hate they're 2 games in, we're 2 games in, we're 2 games in, we're 2 games in. Like, my God.
Yeah, but whoever just posted that comment, please change your avatar. I just got Alex Jones triggered. Please don't. Don't do that to me. I know it's a fun picture of Josh Allen, but goddamn, it hurts. I can't see it anymore and not think of that fucking weirdo.
And this comment I agree with. Kulich should not be your top 6 center. I've been saying this. It shouldn't surprise anyone. He's not playing like he did for those 20 games. Move Tage back to center. Like, I get it. Like, Kulich can be a good center, but it's not fair to him to ask him to be your first line center or even your second line center. It's just not fair to him. Like, good. And I said this during that little intermission rant. And again, this is on Lindy too. Like, good teams overcome injuries. Like, Jason Zucker said it at the end of last season. Hope is a shitty strategy, man. And right now, this whole season began on hope. We hope that Josh Norris stays healthy. We hope that Jack Quinn stays healthy. We hope that Jack Quinn can be the player we thought he was when we drafted him. We hope that defensively we're going to be better. We hope that UPL can stay healthy. We hope that UPL can be the goalie he was when he got that deal. And legitimately, except you could debate the defensive part, none of those things have happened, and we're 2 games in. Hope is a shitty fucking strategy. And this whole season was built on hope and hoping that this would go right and that would go right and everything would go perfect. And it's an 82-game season. It's never going to be like that. It's just not. And that's where, as a GM, you failed this team. Because you thought bringing in Gearston Danforth and Mason Gearston and these bunch of bottom 6 guys we're going to make this team tougher to play against. This same narrative we've been hearing for 2 years now. And guess what? It hasn't. It hasn't, because you're still experiencing the same fucking problems you were at the start of the last season. And you're in the same recycled excuses again and again and again. There is a very deeply rooted cultural problem with this team still. There is no reason at all that you should have to be fighting for like the willingness to skate through a wall to start a game, especially at the start of the season. That's a cultural thing, man. Who are the leaders in this room? Like, how is this still happening? It's not. It's inexcusable, man. It is so inexcusable. And here we are again, dealing with it again. I don't know. Like, that's a Lindy thing for sure. But at the end of the day, you got to look at your roster, and we've talked about in the past. You got to trade a guy that's gonna spark this team and wake everybody up. Well, you did that twice now. You've done it twice now. Well, technically 3 times now. You did it with Dylan Cousins. You did it with Casey Middlestat. You did it with JJ Paterka, and it hasn't worked yet. There is a deeply rooted issue with the culture and the leadership of this hockey team, from the front office to the roster. Nobody has faith in Kevyn Adams. You can't convince me otherwise. You can't even convince Alex Tuck, a guy who was the neighbor of Tim Connolly, loved this team growing up as much as I did, as much as you have. Like, you can't even convince that guy to sign an extension before the season starts. That is bad. Really, really bad. With no end in sight.
Yeah, the optics of that are fucking terrible. And, to reinforce your argument.
The power play, too.
Yeah.
Power play, still same fucking problems. Same coaching staff. Sorry to cut you off, but it's just like,
yeah.
Oh, it's mind-numbing.
Yeah, no, and to reinforce that point, I mean, the back-to-back Stanley Cup championships are going to play most of, if not basically the entire regular season without two of their best forwards. They have the capacity to adapt. They have a strong culture. They have faith in one another. And people who need to step up are actively stepping up. And I don't think that that's just a simple question of skill or youth. I think there is a mentality that winning teams have that the Buffalo Sabres simply do not possess. So, yes, I completely agree that I don't care who's injured. You need to find a way to push through. You got a job to do and you got to do it. Like you can't already be waving the white flag on October 11th, 2025 when there are 80 more games between now and then till mid-April with basically a month off for the Olympics for pretty much your entire team, with the exception of hopefully Tage, Thompson, and a couple other key guys here and there.
I want to talk about the power play too in Seth Appert because that is like a big thing right now. How is he still running this power play?
How is he still on this bench, dude? Like, he was fine in the Amerks when the stakes were a lot lower, but like, he is not an NHL caliber coach, assistant or otherwise. And if this is the guy that's like gonna get past the torch next year when Lindy goes on his merry way, you know, back into being a nice retired old man, like that's bleak. I don't even think Jarmo Kekalainen can save that. Like,
no.
Who the hell Seth Appert going to bring in to save the special teams, or is he going to keep that as his baby? Because heaven forbid he give it away. It's like you can't just rely on one dude being a sniper to guarantee you playoff power play goals. People have figured out that Tage Thompson's going to rip a one-timer. The same way they figured out in Rochester that Isak Rosen or JJ Materka or Yuri Kulik or go down the fucking line, they're going to rip a one-timer, and if they learn how to defend that, they can neutralize your strategy instantly. Mm-hmm. You need another plan. You need to be more fluid. You need to be able to adapt because the teams you're playing against are adapting too. They're not idiots. They're not pylons. They're not plugs. These are intelligent players. These are incredible athletes. You have to try something else because you've just been doing this insane fucking, like, just beating your head against the wall and hoping that the jam that comes out of your fucking ears is going to be the magic elixir that gets this fucking... It's not. Like, just try anything else. Let fucking Bowen Byram, let somebody from one of these other teams that's recently come in give some fucking pointers. Like Bowen Byram in that very first game that he played for Buffalo, when he was on the power play, he looked like he was flabbergasted at the complete lack of motion from the entire squad. They just picked a spot, they planted, and they were just going to wait around and pass it as like static objects. You can't do that. Let Josh Doan get in there. I know he played fourth line minutes for the Utah Mammoth, but the guy clearly knows what he's doing offensively. The guy knows how to adapt. He knows that if the rush play that you love doing isn't working, you're going to have to dump and chase, and he's willing to adapt. Let somebody else let the people who are actually on the ice who have to actually do it have some say in what the strategy is, instead of just taking your lessons from some asshole in a necktie who clearly doesn't know what he's doing. It's ridiculous. Like, just try anything else.
I want to find this tweet from our buddy. Here it is, right here. From our buddy Walt, because it is very, very interesting in terms of the way he views the prospects. Let me pull it up right here. Share screen. Here we go. Very interesting question, in my opinion. Bring it up in here. Here we go. Oh yeah, it's being separated by our overlay here. Let me get rid of it. Let me get rid of that for 1 second. Here we go. So the Sabres' treatment of prospects is interesting because they are apparently good enough where they can't toss them in a sweetener and a larger deal, but they are not good enough to get NHL minutes over Danforth and Gearston at 21 and 22 years old. Like that That is a very, very interesting tweet to me, because it's like it's speaking the truth. It really is. Like to me, we've been touted with this great pipeline now for how many years? Top 5 in the league, but these guys can't seem to crack the lineup. But you know what I mean? But we also can't trade them because they're just too valuable. I mean, Isak, Rosen, like, why was he not called up the second they found out that Norris was going to be out long term? Konsta, Helenius, Noah Ostlund, like 2 out of those 3 guys had really good training camps and preseasons. And Rosen has started off really well with Rochester. 2 goals last night. Why not just, like, strike that iron when it's hot, or whatever the saying is? Like, I don't understand it. And you call up Josh Doan, a bottom 6 guy, when you need a top 6 guy, or a guy who could play a top 6 role. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It gives me tankier vibes. You remember with the tankier, like when Ted Nolan wanted to bring up players and they just wouldn't let him. They just wouldn't let him because they were tanking. And they were trading away goaltenders that were playing well because they wanted to lose. Like Tim Murray was just so invested. I'm not saying that's what they're doing this year. It's not, but like it's just like what has to happen on this roster in order for what has to happen in order for these guys to get a fair shake? I don't get it.
I mean, I don't get it either, especially on the subject of Rosen, because this is his last year on his ELC. He has played, I think it was a total of 15 NHL games, and I'm positive every single one of them was playing in like a replacement 4th line role, maybe played like 10, 15 minutes the entire night. So as nicely as I can say it, they did not utilize him in a way that would actually, make use of his skill set in a meaningful way at the NHL level. And I think that if Norris is going to be out for, let's just say a month, just to be conservative, it could be way more, because they could be lying to us that this absolutely just is his shoulder again. And if it's a shoulder again, he's probably out for the whole goddamn year. Are we really going to sit there and argue that Isak Rosen is going to be even worse than Jack Quinn somewhere in the top 6? Or if you want to keep trying Jack Quinn in the top 6, throw him on the 3rd line with Krebs or McLeod or whoever else goes down there. Like, if you want to spread the wealth and you want there to be depth, then you need to call upon the NHL-ready players that are here to take an elevated role, like a Yuri Kulik on the 1st line or Jason Zucker playing in the 2nd line despite being like 34. Then you need someone underneath where they would normally go to backfill that can suitably fill that spot. And Josh Dunn isn't going to get it done. I hate that I just rhymed, but it's true. You need to put an actual skill player in there to replace a skill player. You can't stick a square peg in a round hole and expect things to go right. That's just not how it works. So whether it's Rosen or Helenius or Ostlund, I personally prefer Helenius because he's just got that dog in him. He doesn't quit. He has a motor like you wouldn't believe. He plays hard. He plays tough. He does the stuff that everybody that likes old-time hockey likes to see, with the exception of actually fighting anybody, but he always gets in somebody's face. He's always going to go to the paint. He's never going to stop trying. And that's the kind of mentality and that's the kind of energy that somebody needs to be injecting into this team. And, maybe it has to be a 19-year-old kid getting a look on the 3rd line to remind you guys what the hell you're doing here in the first place. But if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. Because, it's game 2. There's no way we're going to be able to make a trade with anybody for an actual NHL player. So you can only go to the well. Kozak's already here. Dunn's here. Fine. Whatever. Sub him in place of Gearston, because Gearston didn't really do much of anything. But, we don't know how long Benson's going to be healing his face. It could be a while. The way it sounds, he might have honestly got concussed to some degree, and he might need to miss more time than just, hey, I kind of broke my face open a bit by getting kissed by a puck. It could be a little bit more deep than that. I'm not a doctor, but, we've seen people lose half their smile and come back 10 minutes later. So the fact that he's in the hospital missing time makes me think that something a little bit more serious might have happened there. But if we're going to be out Norris for a whole month, out Benson for however long, somebody young needs to come up. My personal vote's for Rosen just because he's the most productive down there. He's earned his name getting called, and I think this is the year where he has to finally prove to himself and to the team that he plays for if there's something here. Mm-hmm. So just get it done already.
I agree. I do want to bring this comment up real quick because it's so true, and I've always said it. Like, talk about tank, like the tank, and we're talking about Gavin McKenna already 2 games in, but like the Ted Nolan tank team, that team played with pride and grit. I still remember Mike Weber getting so pissed off when fans were cheering when they were scored against because they were tanking for McDavid, and like how much that hurt like their pride, and like they went out there and they laid it all on the ice because they wanted to win despite us. It's really what it was. They were trying to win to spite us because they wanted to prove like this isn't just one player that's going to come in and fix everything. This is a team. We're a team. We're a family. That you just don't get that vibe from this roster. Like the tank teams never they could have outshot 15-5 in a first period or even 10-0. Well, they still went out there and they played with a ton of pride and a ton of grit. And they might have been talented. They were obviously built to lose, but like they never, ever, ever didn't show up.
True, very true. To the detriment of the front office, but yeah, they showed up. They were gonna make you earn the W even when they were actively trying to lose. But they were trying to win in spite of all of that. They know what management wanted, but there's still players that had some level of pride and dignity, and they're not just going to lay an egg for 82 games just to make some other management group happy. And then, okay, well, thanks for showing the league you're a bum. Have fun in free agency. Like, how's that help anybody? How's that help them? But also just, these players have, we constantly quote the Shorzy line, but those players hated to lose. I don't think, and you would think with the amount of experience that this particular group of Sabres has with losing, that they would have also developed some sort of yucky taste in their mouth to the prospect of losing. But no, they're still lining up at the buffet. They're walking into the Golden Corral every night, just waiting for another fucking spoonful of just, I don't even know. Is it just, do they just like collecting a paycheck and moving on with their day? Like, I don't know, man. That's just, but we got to see something change here. And I know that it's going to be a tall order considering that they're playing Colorado on Monday, and that's another fantastic fucking team. Arguably the best one we've played all year. Definitely better than the Rangers and the Bruins. So that's going to be fun.
Like, listen, we're not just trying to like be negative and be loud and yell and scream for the sake of clicks or the sake of, engagement because we know, people will join in and pile on. That's not what this is. You see it. You see it in the games like that. We've seen it. Same shit we saw last year. It hasn't changed. And I think this fan base has gotten to a point where we're just over it. We're just over it. Like, I've never felt this hopeless 2 games into a season.
Yeah, and we don't want to feel this way because this is the team we love. For better or worse, this is the team that we all grew up loving. This is the team we want to see succeed more than any other team. And come hell or high water, we're going to still be here. But goddamn, they make it so hard to try to root for this when they have just done the same thing. At the very least, for the last 5 years, it's been the same thing. At least since Kevyn Adams showed up, it's the same thing. A rotation of skill guys that eventually get beleaguered and disillusioned, who ask for out. A never-ending carousel of 7th defensemen and 13th forwards that get more ice time than they realistically deserved at bottom of the barrel prices.
Mm-hmm.
Lather, rinse, repeat.
Alex Lyon. I said this during the game. I said it in the heading for this show. Should Alex Lyon remain your starting goaltender even when, say, UPL is ready by Monday? Should Alex Lyon remain your starter given how he's played in 2 games?
Absolutely, no question.
Like, that game could have been 5-0 after the first period. Could have been 5-0, easy. Like, Lyon has been playing on his head. And I know I'm bullish on the guy. I know I've been bullish on him since we signed him. But, like, he is what this team needs. Like, right now, UPL, in my opinion, isn't getting you out of this hole. Like, he's not just going to magically come in and all of a sudden the team is going to rally. Like, if the team isn't rallying around Alex Lyon, they're sure as shit not going to rally around UPL, a guy who's been here for a few years now and has lost his job 2 years in a row to over-the-hill goaltenders Craig Anderson and James Reimer. No offense against either of them, but it's true. He lost his starting job to both of them. So you're not going to sit here and bring in UPL and all of a sudden the team is going to rally around him. It's not going to happen. Alex Lyon, it should be his job to lose at this point because that's how well he has played and given them a chance to win in both of these games. In games that, honestly, they didn't deserve to win. And you can talk to me all about the deserve to win meter in the first game. You can talk to me about the amount of shots they had on net. They had garbage shots on net when it came to the Rangers. They like 4 or 5 high danger scoring chances. Their power play was atrocious. And again, a first period that was absolutely embarrassing, even more embarrassing tonight. So, yeah, I think Alex Lyon should be your starting goaltender if you're trying to dig yourself out of this hole. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put the guy in the role that's actually going to get the job done, and he is getting the job done. He's keeping these competitive games. The part that's not connecting is this disjointed forward core that can't seem to handle a line shuffle at the moment. Because, again, Alex Lyon is going well above and beyond. The defense is playing serviceably. They're not incredible. They're not dog shit. They're fine, which, given the injuries...
Without Michael Kesslering.
That's best case scenario. They're playing average defense. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Yeah.
But you do need to score at least a goal to try to win a game. And I know you just went up against Igor Shesterkin and Jeremy Swayman, and they're Vezina caliber goalies. Any goalie can be beat in this league.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to take quality shots, not shoot in the shin pads, and you have to keep trying. And you have to get people in front to convert on rebounds when they're available. And they were available, but you weren't there to try to convert on one.
Yeah.
One of the only players I saw get even close to trying to convert on one, Josh Doan.
And again, I thought Josh Doan should have been on the first line. No doubt about it.
Can't just be one guy. Can't just be one guy, though.
I know, but move Tage to center, have Kulik and Doan be on the wings, or Doan and somebody else. What's Tuck? I don't know. Can't remember which side Doan plays compared to Tuck. But like when you're struggling this much to find offense, I thought Doan has looked good for 2 games. He was part of the Paterka deal. You have a lot of high hopes from him. We've talked about him potentially being a 20-goal scorer on this team. Well, give him an opportunity. Give him an opportunity to prove his worth in that deal and be more than just a big guy who might score 20. He comes from a good hockey lineage. It was in Shane Doan. Was it Shane? Yeah, right?
Shane Doan, yeah.
Shane Doan, yeah.
That's a dead.
Coming from that lineage, the high second-round pick, fuck it. Throw him up there. See what happens. Add a lot of size. Him, Tage, Tuck, and Doan. Who cares?
2 dogs and a sniper.
Yeah.
That's always a good strategy. 2 dogs and you can try to carry that over to the second line too. If it becomes McLeod, Zucker, and Kulik on a wing, easy, done. 2 dogs and a sniper. 2 dogs and a sniper. Still got that in your top 6. Third line still looks a little rough. Probably Krebs centering Quinn and insert Amrik here. But if it's Helenius, that's still 2 dogs and a sniper with Krebs.
Yeah.
Krebs still has a little dog in him. And then your fourth line, just all dogs. just go out there and bite someone. Just don't get put down.
There's like a lot about his game to like, and there is, man. You see bits and pieces of it in the first 2 games. You saw it and he had goal and 2 assists in preseason. Again, it's preseason, but like, I don't know, man. You gave up a near 30 goal scorer in the deal for Kesselring and this guy. So why not just give him an opportunity? Like, why not? Like, see if it's there. See if he rises to the occasion. These are guys that haven't been exposed to this culture yet, and this negativity and just this type of losing yet. For all intents and purposes, that you're sent to Utah. Given the team that like the Coyotes were before they relocated. They had a good group of young talented players in Arizona and in Utah. Like, they haven't been exposed to all of this yet. So give him an opportunity to succeed and be a good player and be, a potential goal scorer, on a team that desperately needs goal scoring right now, especially after Josh Norris, was put on the shelf. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it.
I mean, from what Lindy was saying, it just sounded like he wanted to go back to the well of something that he knew worked. Maybe he was just afraid to try something new in game 2 when they were trying to get some sort of life. So it's like, Tuck, Thompson, and Kulik, that worked at one point. Let me just try that again. And then it almost immediately got split up anyway. So what was the point? It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, when you're already, there's nothing wrong with throwing a little mud at the wall and seeing what sticks when you're already running out of options. Pray to God Benson comes back to get somewhere in this top 6 because,
And it's just sad that we had a 20-year-old kid. Is he 19 or 20 now?
I believe he is.
He's not old enough to drink. I know that. I'm pretty sure he's not old enough to drink yet.
I know he's not old enough to drink. I think he might finally be 20, though. Let's take a gander. He is officially 20 years old.
Yeah. So it's, again, not fair to, again, I hate using the word undersized, but it's true. He's still got growing to do. He's still got muscle to put on. And the thing about Zach Benson that I like is, he's going to grind and, get his body in the best shape as his body keeps maturing. So, but I just don't think it's fair that he should be just thrown into this top role because your team just needs scoring that badly. He should be given time to develop, if this team was deep enough, much like we did with guys like Roy, Vanek, and Max in the past. When your team is deep enough and skilled enough in your top 2 lines, you can afford to have a Benson be in your 3rd line, a guy who's still going to play 18 minutes a night and just give you this additional scoring depth. But again, going back to what I said earlier, deep, good teams can do that. Whereas Buffalo is a 1-line team right now. They're a 1-line team, and that is it.
1-line team is generous because the 1 line doesn't even work.
Yeah.
We can't even call it a 1-line team because the 1 line that's supposed to work didn't even score the one and only goal we've scored all year. It was Jason Zucker kind of on a lark, putting it over everybody's head, and it just kind of fell right at Swayman's feet on a weird bounce. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's nice when the puck luck goes our way for a change, but still not a goal that generally goes in. But it's just
I see the chat. Everyone's just throwing out their mock trades right now. We're 2 games into the season.
Like,
unbelievable. But
I mean, I don't think the Dallas Stars are stupid enough to trade Jason Robertson.
Adrian Kempe still isn't signed.
Adrian Kempe is also. I mean, with our luck, Adrian Kempe has some sort of trade protection, and he does. He's got a 10-team no trade list. Guess who's on it? That's the problem, boys and girls.
This is the position we put ourselves in. No palm trees, state tax, and we're on everybody's no trade list.
We are the no fly list for the entire league. For the love of God, don't stop here.
Oh my God, man! It's
fly into Lake Erie rather than stop in Buffalo for a tank of gas. I'm telling you, like, don't even. But all right.
What do you think? What do you think happened before we get out of here? What happens first? Does who gets the axe first? Is it going to be Kevyn Adams or is it going to be Lindy Ruff?
Given that they kind of already have Lindy Ruff's replacement riding the bench right now, I would say they'd probably fire Lindy Ruff before they fire Kevyn Adams, because I don't know the exact nature of Jarmo Kekalainen's deal with the team. I know that he's like a senior advisor to Kevyn Adams to basically help him not make terrible decisions. So in theory, he's the most obvious person to take over that role. The job would be his if he wanted, but then that's the question: does he actually want it?
I have zero faith in Seth Appert being the guy either.
I have no faith. I have no faith in him either. But clearly, from top down, that's what the organization wants. So if that's their blueprint anyway, I could definitely see them feeling much more comfortable axing Lindy and just letting Seth step up and make everything worse than them actually axing Kevyn Adams for doing a profoundly horrible job, particularly in this last off season and trade deadline. Like, again, I know Dylan Cousins was awful by the time he left this organization, but you cannot trade even a busted asset for somebody with the injury history of Josh Norris.
Yeah.
This is a team that loves to gamble on unproven talent. I would have much rather that been converted to two other 22-year-olds that haven't quite put it together. Maybe there's a world where a Dylan Cousins for Marco Rossi trade or something to that effect could have happened with Minnesota last year. We don't know.
Love Marco Rossi on this hockey team right now.
I mean, that's another undersized center, which everyone hates, but the man can put in work, and then we can finally live out the alternate timeline where they made the correct pick at that draft and did not pick Jack Quinn over Mark Rossi.
Agreed.
But
any final thoughts, Steve?
Not about this team, but shout out Matt Schaefer and Zeev Buyum for scoring the first NHL goals tonight. Two rookie defensemen in the league, so a couple clicks for the young kids. Good
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Matt Schaefer and Zeev Buyum.
Oh, yeah.
Both scored their first NHL goals tonight.
I saw the Schaefer goal. It was a hard fought, one of those.
One of those greasy ones.
Yep.
Not the pretty behind,
but...
through the legs goal that Benson got to start his career off, but still, they don't ask how, they ask how many. Williams was a lot prettier, but that's to be expected. He's a very talented young man. So good for them. Please, for the love of God, fucking figure it out, man. It's going to be a long, long year if you don't figure it out and fast. My God, I can't believe I have tickets for 3 upcoming games before the calendar year is over. I should have just burnt my money.
I agree. Anyways, we will have to. I got nothing. I got nothing. I had a
broken
brain fart there.
He's not even going Joker mode, folks. He's just.
No, I went Joker mode.
Somebody unplugged Duane's controller. He's done.
Yeah, I went Joker mode after in our little press conference. I'll upload that to the channel too, so you can hear. I fucking lost it. Oh, got it all out right then. But please, everybody, I just want to remind you this has been brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room with over 300 beers to choose from at 7 different Western New York locations, located in Ohio and Rochester as well. So if you need a beer, make sure you make it a Fatty Beer and let them know 2 Goalies, 1 Mike sent you. If you've enjoyed this content, hammer that like button on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the little bell icon so you want to go live. If you want to follow us, you can follow me at Duane S39. You can follow is it 2G1M
Buffalo Rome, yeah.
Buffalo Rome for producer Steve. You can find us at 2 Goalies 1 Mike on Twitter or X or Instagram, wherever. And please make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like button, especially on YouTube. It helps us a lot. Until next time, their next game is, when do they play Colorado?
Monday at 12:30 in the afternoon. A nice Columbus Day matinee.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait. So we'll talk to you guys later.
He's greater.
Somebody brought that up. Somebody brought that up on the last on the post game first night. They vividly remembered what you said and even quoted it. It was funny. But I'll hang up and listen. We'll talk to you later. And as